Welcome back, everybody. We previously talked about factoring our polynomials. We were specifically factoring trinomials and turning them into a product of two binomials. So two sets of parentheses that had two terms each. We talked about two different cases yesterday. One was if we had two positive signs in our trinomial. So if the last sign is a positive and the first sign is a positive or an addition symbol, then in my binomials, both of my signs are going to be addition or positive. The second case we talked about was if our last figure or our last term had an addition symbol or a positive, and our first term had subtraction or a negative, both of our symbols would end up being negative. Today, we're going to introduce the idea, well, what if we have a different mix? And so here, for case 3, what we're going to deal with a lot today is if our last term is negative, and the first term could be positive or negative. It doesn't matter. It could be either one. Well, when this happens, we are going to have a negative term, and we are going to have a positive term. So it's kind of this weird situation where we could have addition or subtraction happening to be our second term in our standard form. And no matter what, we're going to end up with a positive and negative as our case. So as you're working through this assignment, you might want to keep this handy to kind of reference what are my signs supposed to look like, what's supposed to be happening. Okay. So we're going to look at example 1 here first. So just like we talked about yesterday, or previously, depending on when you're watching this, we are going to try to find numbers that multiply to equal the last term, which is -8. So factors of, -18. And then that add together to equal that second term, -7. Now, if they multiply to equal a negative, that means one number is going to be positive and one number is going to be negative, no matter what. So when we think of our terms, we actually have two possibilities. So when we think about 18, you could easily jump to 1 and 18. But when we're thinking about factors, it could be -1 times 18, or it could be +1 times a -18. So you actually, when you think of your list of factors, you have two options. You have two sets of options. So 1 and 18, if we think about adding those together, so -1 plus 18 is going to give us 17. 1 plus a -18 is going to give us -17. Those aren't the sums we're looking for. So those aren't going to work. So then we go to our next set, 18, 2 and 9. So -2 times a +9, or +2 times a -9. So let's see what our sums do there. We can do -2 plus 9 will give us a +7. Or +2 plus a -9 will give us a -7, which is what we are looking for. So +2 and -9 work. So remember, you might have to go through and make a long list of factors, or you can utilize your calculator to help you make those factors. I'll link or put the factoring video underneath this to show you the factors of the calculator as well. So just keep that in mind. You can also do that. So again, just some of our other factors that we could have tried was -3 and 6, and 6 and, +3 and -6. So that could have also worked as well. But we found 2 and -9. So our answer is going to say x plus 2 and x minus 9. X plus 2 and x minus 9. Okay. Here we have x squared plus 2x minus 15. So we are going to find numbers that multiply to be -15 and add to be a +2. So factors of 15, we've got -1 and 15, or 1 and -15. And then we have -3 times 5 and +3 times -5. I think those are all. So if we look at how those add up, Negative 1 plus 15 gives us 14. 1 plus negative 15 gives us negative 14. Negative 3 plus 5 gives us our positive 2, which is what we are looking for. There we go. So negative 3 and 5. You might start to notice patterns on when you are adding and subtracting, trying to figure out which terms are going to work. I look at that positive 2, a sum of positive 2, and I think to myself, oh, before I make the absolute value of these numbers or before I make them negative, they're 2 numbers apart from each other. So 3 and 5 are 2 numbers apart from each other. I have to make one positive and one negative. So x minus 3 and x plus 5. X minus 3 and x plus 5.